Hey everybody, this is John with cookingwithjohngruber.com. Today I want to talk to you about why I absolutely hate green beans. And the reason being is because growing up in the 80s and the 90s, and kind of like a crossover decade there, the only way my mother would serve green beans is canned green beans, in which she'd dump the whole can right into a pot, heat and serve, and then scoop out and plop on a plate. Now, because of this, I haven't been able to quite come up with a way to enjoy canned green beans at all. But on a brighter side, there are better ways to enjoy green beans. But first, let's cue some of that theme music. No, nothing? We don't have theme music? That's right. I don't have theme music for my video, but I want to say or invite you to create something for me if you choose to. So let's just open up a forum on my website at cookingwithjohngruber.com, and you can contact me and we'll work together on maybe a little jingle. Why not? Something I can dance to. How's that? But not sing to, because I'm not going to sing. All right. So back to the canned green beans. Now, in theory, green beans are always picked at their freshest, and then they are flash blanched, so to speak, and then processed in a can. And it's not, they've come a long way. So right now the ingredients are very simple. It is green beans, water, and salt. Not bad. And sodium content is getting better, and some people are using sea salt. But salt is salt and sodium, and we're all trying to avoid it. At least I am. Now, moving on, because I don't think I have a recipe for these, ever. I'll try and come up with something, but for now, this is going to go in my pantry and stay there, probably past its expiration date, which, believe it or not, is only 2 years from now. That I can't believe. It's only good for 2 years? Well, it's a little bit longer than our next option. Now our next option is frozen green beans. Let me cover up that label there. Frozen green beans are suitable in my book. They're not perfect, but again, they are picked at their ripest, most perfect stage, and then flash frozen. Now, during that freezing stage, a lot of the plant cells, which are full of water, the walls will break open, and therefore the water will leach out, consuming the entire vegetable. So we have the green bean, and because there's all that water content in there, you're not going to be able to put it in something, say for example a sauce, because it's not going to absorb the sauce. In fact, I don't know if you've ever used frozen green beans in a green bean casserole, but if you've ever noticed the sauce that's used in the green bean casserole, or mushroom soup as some people like to call it, it never really congeals. It kind of just falls right off. The sauce just falls right off of the vegetable because of that water. So there's like the oily sauce and the water don't mix. So you just have exposed green beans. But this is still a viable option. My favorite option is fresh green beans. Now, you are able to buy them, by bulk, farm stands, just about everywhere. During our current food hoarding crisis, I'm going to call it, you're not able to do the bulk picking of green beans like you were before. In fact, my grocery store was completely out of them and out of everything that isn't prepackaged. So I was able to find a bag of fresh green beans just by the salad section. Now this is not necessarily my favorite option in buying these because they are a little bit more expensive. And you might say, John, they go bad a little bit faster. I can't eat all those fresh green beans all at once. And if you can't, that's possible. But you know what's great about this bag is they're, again, picked fresh. The ingredients are just green beans. And this bag fits in the freezer too. So you can freeze this. You can also sort it out and do smaller packages and freeze what you're not going to use for your recipe. So today's recipe talks about fresh green beans. So I was going to do a side-by-side comparison on the color of our green beans. But I can honestly say I don't even want to open this can of green beans. We all know the color. It's a dark, almost avocado, grayish, muted green color. It's been overcooked. They're soft and mushy. The bean itself has pushed out of the pod. And of course our beautiful green vivid beans, which are even going to become brighter once we cook them. So my favorite recipe for fresh green beans is going to be garlicky green beans. Now, it takes a lot of garlic and a little bit of patience to make this, but it is a quick meal. And I'm going to show you a couple tricks that I have to make this a little bit easier of a recipe. So I have about, let's see, I would say a pound of green beans, and I'm going to do 6 cloves of garlic. These are just fresh garlic. Don't ever use that canned or that jarred stuff with the oil or the water. It is not good. It's bitter. Get a fresh clove of garlic. The worst that's going to happen is it might get a little dry or even start growing in your pantry. It's not necessarily a bad thing. The freshest garlic is usually a little bit sweeter. And then when it starts to grow and has a little bit of that green, it's going to be a little bit sharper of a flavor. Maybe even add a little bit more of a bitter taste to it, but it's still going to be your fresh garlic. So the first thing I like to do with garlic in this recipe is I'm going to pretty much keep these cloves whole. Now I've already taken care of 3, but what I like to do, and I wish I could get a little closer, but my filming apparatus doesn't really allow me to do so, is I just cut off the dry root end, and the skin is still on, and I cut most of the way through, and then just hold the knife and peel away. See, as it's peeling away, that papery portion, and I got an almost exposed side. So that just goes right there. I'm going to do that again, and that didn't take all the paper. It did get some of it, but it didn't get all of it. And then lastly, the last one. Now I've used a combination of an older garlic clove and a new garlic clove that I had. But at any rate, now it's time to peel the garlic, and there's many different ways, and you can sit there fussing with the little papery skin. But I like to use a method, the 2-bowl method, and I'm going to show you what I do with the 2-bowl method. I'm also going to mute the audio for this section because it does get kind of loud, like a bunch of maracas. So I put the garlic in just like that. The butt ends, again, the root ends that were kind of dried are cut off, but I'm leaving all the rest of it pretty much whole. I'm just going to set that in. Then you're going to find another bowl that fits together really nice. Now again, they're 2 different bowls, but the lid, the tips or the edges fit and overlap. And I'm going to shake it. Like a martini, if you shake a martini, you're not supposed to shake a martini. Okay, so after all of that shaking, the garlic cloves have separated from their skins. So they are whole, peeled garlic. Oh, get that paper out of there. Whole peeled garlic, and all that paper is stuck in there. The reason I use stainless steel bowls is so that any of the garlic oil that goes on the pan, the stainless steel, will rinse off and wash off pretty easily. So now that I have that peeled, I am going to just slice these, and then we're going to head over to the stove and I'll show you what's next. Now when I say slice, I may only cut them in half. I do like a nice garlic bite. And here we are now at the stove, and where I'm just going to prepare these green beans that I said that I absolutely hated, and now this is the only recipe that I will ever eat green beans in. So what I'm doing is I'm just heating up a pan. I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil to it. In fact, maybe a little bit more. I'd say maybe 2 tablespoons of olive oil, or as Rachel Ray likes to call it, EVOO, which is not easier for me to say. And we're then going to just toss the garlic right into the pan, and we're going to bring that to a nice roasted color. And once everything's heated, we're then going to add the beans and give them a quick steam and blistering effect to them. The garlic is mostly roasted, so I'm just going to toss in the green beans while we're kind of waiting for that garlic to finish, because it'll finish cooking with the green beans in the pan. And then we're just going to wait till these are bright vivid green and blister them a little bit. The green beans are mostly softened and they are a bright, vivid green. They also have some nice charring from the hot oil, so they're blistering up very nicely. I'm just going to season it with some salt, and this is just some coarse salt, and then I'm going to just season it with some pepper. And that's pretty much it to this recipe. Just going to give that a toss in the pan. It smells extremely good here. A lot like garlic, but it's a nice roasted garlic. It's very sweet, not pungent, not strong. And I'm just going to serve these up on a plate, and I will see you in a little bit. Now, these green beans are ready for me to eat. They are bright green and delicious, extremely garlicky, but just right. And this is the only way I will eat them. So, if you have me over for dinner, be sure to watch this video, because I will not touch green beans otherwise. Now, there's a couple of other things that you could do with this. You could put almonds in it and make like a green bean almondine. I don't really care for it that way, especially with all the garlic. The flavors don't seem to meld very well. But what I do like is a little bit of sesame seed on it, and it's just to make it just a touch fancy. Sprinkle that all over there. Okay, a little more is more. There we go. Now, there's your garlicky green beans. So I want to thank you for watching this video with me. This is my third video. Again, always looking for extra help in my videos, as well as any comments or questions you have. Also, if you want to pop over to my website, cookingwithjohngruber.com, I have a contact form there if you want. We have a community forum as well. We can chat about any recipe you want to watch me cover, and I can give you updates as well as what's going on. There's also a couple of other things like that I like to use in the kitchen. They're just recommended items that I use, different ways to save money at the grocery store, which is really important to me. And also, in these videos, remember to subscribe and hit the little bell. You never know if I come up with something that you're really going to like. So I will see you next time.